Take a moment to picture your mind as a garden. In this garden, there are lovely flowers that represent good feelings and happy thoughts. Still, bad feelings can get in the way of your inner garden's growth and beauty sometimes, like weeds. These bad feelings, fear, doubt, anger, and frustration, are not just problems, they're signs that you need to do something. That being said, you have the power to turn these problems into chances for growth. In this article, we'll talk about how to get over your bad feelings, how to develop an attitude that helps you deal with problems, and how to use these emotional obstacles as stepping stones to a happier and more successful life. You see, bad feelings aren't permanent. They're just temporary states that can be changed with the right attitude and strategies. You will have the tools you need to take charge of your emotions and grow a garden of happiness and success by the end of our lesson. Negative emotions have three main roots: external events, internal interpretations, and learned behavior patterns. We cannot control all external events, but we always have the power to control our reaction to them. The key to eradicating negative emotions is to take full responsibility for our lives, our actions, and above all, our reactions. Today, we will delve into the ability to turn negative situations into positive opportunities. This is a topic that deeply affects our well-being and personal success. If you have ever felt that negative emotions are holding you back, this episode is for you. Negative emotions are one of the greatest enemies we face throughout our lives. If we could eliminate them, our lives, our relationships, and our health would improve significantly. Many of our negative emotions stem from blaming other people or situations for the negative events in our lives. This leads us to cling to those feelings, even when we cannot change what happened. This is where personal responsibility comes into play. The truth is, no one can make you feel negative except yourself. Remember this every time you face a challenge. You have the power to choose your response. Implementing these strategies in your life may seem challenging at first, but with practice, it becomes natural. In order to do this, you need to think about your experiences, set up ways to get help, and adopt a mindset of constant learning. We are going to learn today that one of the most important skills for personal success is being able to turn bad events into good ones. Taking full responsibility for your life and not blaming other people gives you power and opens up a world of opportunities. One of the hardest things about everyday life is dealing with our bad feelings. They can happen in many scenarios and have a big effect on our mental health, our relationships, and how much work we get done. But it's important to understand and get rid of these bad feelings if you want to live a fuller and more happy life. Before anything else, it's important to know what bad feelings are and where they come from. Emotions that make us feel bad are called negative emotions. Some examples are anger, fear, sadness, anxiety, and hatred. Most of the time, these feelings come up because of things or events that we think are dangerous, unfair, or hurtful. One of the main sources of negative emotions is the tendency to blame other people or circumstances for our difficulties. This habit of blaming others makes us feel powerless and trapped in a spiral of negativity. For example, when something goes wrong at work, it is easy to point fingers at a colleague or poor management rather than looking inward and analyzing our own contribution to the situation. The key to eliminating negative emotions lies in taking responsibility for our lives, our actions, and our reactions. This personal responsibility does not mean that we should blame ourselves for everything that goes wrong, but rather that we should recognize our role in situations and work on how we respond to them. An important concept in this process is the idea that we cannot be responsible for our lives and be negative at the same time. Our mind can only focus on one thought at a time, positive or negative. By consciously choosing to take responsibility, we shift our focus from negativity to a more constructive and empowering perspective. Each time you feel a negative emotion, repeat to yourself, I am responsible, I am responsible, I am responsible. This mantra helps redirect your mind towards a mindset of responsibility and away from negativity. Over time, this habit can transform your way of thinking and significantly reduce negative emotions in your life. You might wonder how you can be responsible in situations where other people are clearly involved. The truth is that you are always responsible for something, even in these conditions. You could have put yourself in that situation, made choices that led to the result, or kept things the same instead of changing them. You are fully responsible for how you react to a bad situation, even if you had nothing to do with what made it happen in the first place. Take this case as an example. Let's say someone hits your car in the parking lot. Even though you weren't to blame for the accident, you can choose how to react. You can get mad, yell, and stress out, or you can take a deep breath, deal with the problem in a calm and peaceful way, and go on with your day. Having the response skill to answer positively is a key sign of your long-term happiness and success. In addition to taking responsibility, it's important to develop the capacity to reflect on your experiences and learn from them. After facing a stressful or negative situation, take a moment to reflect on what happened. Ask yourself, what really caused the stress? What could I do differently next time? This reflection is not about judging yourself, but about objectively assessing the experience and finding ways to improve. It is an exercise in self-awareness and adjustment. As we have mentioned many times, adopting a mindset of continuous learning allows you to view each experience, good or bad, as an opportunity for growth. For example, if you consistently feel stressed at work, it may be a sign that you need to improve your time management skills or your ability to say no to additional tasks. Recognizing these signs and acting accordingly can transform a repetitive stress pattern into a story of personal growth and success. Eliminating negative emotions and taking personal responsibility are fundamental steps to living a fuller and more successful life. By understanding where these emotions come from and how to manage them, you can transform your relationship with stress and difficulties, turning them into opportunities for growth and development. To effectively manage negative emotions, we first need to understand where they come from. Negative emotions don't arise out of nowhere. They have causes and roots that we can identify and address. This knowledge is crucial as it allows us to tackle the problem at its source rather than just treating its symptoms. There are three main places where negative feelings usually come from: events happening outside of us, how we see them, and the ways we have learned to behave. We should look into each of these sources to find out how they affect our lives. The first source of bad feelings is things that happen in the outside world. These are things that happen to us that we can't change and that hurt us. There can be a lot of different things, like losing a job, getting negative feedback, being in an accident, or having money problems. Even though these things are out of our control, they make us feel things. Take the case of getting bad feedback at work. This event from the outside can make you feel things like frustration, anger, or sadness. It's important to remember that we can't change what happens, but we can change how we react to it. The first step to controlling bad feelings is to realize that even though things happen in the outside world, we can choose how to respond to them. The second source of negative emotions is our internal interpretations. It's not the events themselves that cause our emotions, but how we interpret and make sense of them. Two people can experience the same event, but have completely different emotional reactions due to their individual interpretations. For instance, if you receive feedback at work, you might interpret it in two ways: as an opportunity to improve and grow, or as a personal attack that leaves you feeling hurt. How you choose to interpret this event will determine your emotional response. This brings us to a crucial point. Our beliefs and thoughts have a significant impact on our emotions. If you have a growth mindset and view challenges as opportunities to learn, you are less likely to be overwhelmed by negative emotions. Conversely, if you tend to see criticism as personal attacks, you are more likely to experience intense negative emotions. The third thing that can cause bad feelings is learned behavior habits. As we go through life, the things we experience and the places we live shape our mental habits. These patterns can be good or bad, and they often affect how we act in different scenarios. For instance, if you grew up in a place where criticism was common but rarely helpful, you might have learned to respond defensively or anxiously to any criticism. It can be hard to break these learned habits of behavior, but they are not set in stone. It takes understanding and work, but we can break these habits and replace them with better ways of responding. To effectively deal with negative feelings, it is important to recognize these patterns of behavior and make an effort to change them. One way to do this is to use cognitive restructuring techniques, which teach you to question and change your negative thoughts and to watch your feelings and thoughts without judging them. Now that we know where bad feelings come from, how can we use this information to get rid of them? Here are some steps that you can take right now. When you feel bad, take a moment to figure out where it came from. Is it an outside event, an internal interpretation, or a routine of behavior that you have learned? If you think that your bad feelings are caused by how you see things, question those thoughts. You should ask yourself if there is a better way to look at things. For instance, don't see feedback as an attack. Instead, see it as a chance to get better. If you notice that you have negative behavioral patterns, work to modify them. Remember that you have the power to choose how you respond to any situation. By taking responsibility for your reactions, you can reduce the intensity and duration of negative emotions. Resilience is the ability to recover from difficulties. By developing this skill, you can manage negative emotions more effectively and maintain a positive perspective, even in challenging situations. Understanding the origin of negative emotions is a crucial step in managing and ultimately eliminating them. By addressing the underlying causes, we can transform our relationship with stress and difficulties, turning them into opportunities for growth and development. With time and practice, these strategies can lead to a more balanced and emotionally healthy life. To manage negative emotions effectively and transform our lives, it is essential to take personal responsibility. This concept may seem simple, but it has a profound impact on how we live and face challenges. Personal responsibility means recognizing and accepting that we are accountable for our actions, reactions, and ultimately our lives. Being personally responsible doesn't mean that we have to blame ourselves for everything that happens. Instead, it means that knowing how we react to things is very important. We can't always change what happens in the outside world, but we can always change how we respond to it. To a more healthy and stress-free life, this is the first thing that needs to be done. There are three main parts of taking personal responsibility: being responsible for our acts, our reactions, and our choices. We can better understand how to use these parts in our daily lives if we break them down. Whether they are good or bad, everything we do has results. When we own up to our mistakes, we recognize that we have the power to change our lives. This means being aware of the choices we make and ready to deal with the results of those choices. You have to accept that the stress you feel at the last minute is a direct result of your choice. Like if you put off working on an important job for too long. You don't have to blame the situation. Instead, you can figure out what you did wrong and change how you act in the future. Our reactions to situations are also our responsibility. It is easy to react impulsively when faced with a negative situation, but these reactions often exacerbate the problem rather than resolve it. By taking responsibility for our reactions, we can learn to respond more constructively. Imagine you are in a meeting and a colleague criticizes your work. Your initial reaction might be defensive or angry, which could lead to conflict. However, by taking a moment to reflect and respond calmly and professionally, you can diffuse the tension and potentially gain valuable feedback that helps you improve. Our lives are changed by every choice we make, no matter how big or small. Being aware of our choices and making a conscious choice is what it means to take responsibility for our choices. This is true for both big decisions, like changing jobs, and small ones we make every day that have an effect on our health. For example, deciding to meditate or work out every day are choices that can have a big impact on our mental and physical health. We can form long-lasting habits if we are aware of these choices and accept responsibility for them. Taking responsibility for our actions gives us power, frees us from feeling like victims, and lets us run our own lives. We can start to make good changes that will last when we realize that our actions, reactions, and choices are our own. Taking care of ourselves also helps us learn and grow. Instead of feeling guilty about mistakes, they become chances to learn. We can look back at the choices and acts we made in the past, figure out what we could have done better, and then use what we learned in the future. Here are some practical steps to apply personal responsibility in your life. Daily reflection. At the end of each day, take a moment to reflect on your actions, reactions, and decisions. What did you do well? Where could you improve? This daily reflection helps you stay aware of your behavior and make adjustments when necessary. Accept responsibility. When facing a negative consequence, instead of making excuses or blaming others, own up to your responsibility. Ask yourself what you could have done differently and how you can avoid repeating the same mistake in the future. Set clear goals. Having clear goals helps you make decisions aligned with your objectives. Knowing where you want to go allows you to take responsibility for the actions and decisions necessary to get there. Emotional regulation. Learn to regulate your emotions and reactions. Self-regulation allows you to respond more consciously and constructively. Seek support. Look for people who support you on your journey to personal responsibility, whether they are friends, family, or mentors. These individuals can offer valuable support and advice. Being responsible for yourself is a constant process. It's not about being perfect. It's about being aware of and thoughtful about what we do, how we respond, and what we choose. This habit can help you live a more peaceful, successful, and satisfying life over time. In the face of problems, it helps us think positively and take action, and it turns problems into chances to grow. Being responsible for our actions is a strong way to change our lives. It lets us make decisions and gives us the power to make good things happen. You can lower your stress, make your relationships better, and improve your overall health by following these rules in your daily life. It can be scary to take responsibility for bad things that happen, but it is an important step toward changing our lives and lowering our stress. it's important to know that we can choose how to react, even if we can't always change what happens to us. This way of thinking gives us power, helps us solve problems, and teaches us from everything we do. To start, it's important to recognize that taking responsibility in negative situations does not mean blaming ourselves for everything that goes wrong. Instead, it involves accepting our role and our reactions to events. This approach helps us take control of our emotions and actions instead of feeling like victims of circumstances. The first step in being responsible in negative situations is to acknowledge our role in them. This can be difficult, especially when we feel we've been treated unfairly or when the negative event seems completely out of our control. However, there is always some aspect where we can take responsibility. For example, if you are in a relationship where you constantly feel stress and negativity, rather than solely blaming the other person, ask yourself, what have I done to contribute to this situation? Have I communicated my needs clearly? Have I taken steps to improve the relationship? By asking these questions, you begin to see where you can take actions to change the dynamic. After we know what our part is, we need to be able to control how we respond. Our first reactions are often emotional, which can make a bad scenario worse. It's very important to learn to stop and think before responding. Say someone has said something bad about you at work. It's possible that your first thought is to be hurt or angry, but before you act, take a moment to breathe and think. Ask yourself, is this feedback a chance to get better? What do I need to learn from this? If you change your point of view, you can turn a situation that could be bad into something good. Having a growth attitude is important for taking responsibility when things go wrong. This means seeing every problem as a chance to get better and learn. Instead of giving up when you have troubles, look for the lessons you can learn from them. Responsibility in negative situations also involves taking proactive actions. This means not only reacting to events, but also anticipating and preparing for potential challenges. Being proactive allows you to stay in control and handle negative situations better when they arise. An example of proactivity is planning. If you know a stressful situation is approaching, such as an important presentation at work, prepare in advance. Practice your presentation, anticipate possible questions and solutions, and plan how to manage stress. By doing so, you reduce the likelihood of the situation becoming a negative experience. Accepting that there are things beyond our control and focusing on what we can change is essential for our emotional well-being. For example, if someone has treated you unfairly, instead of holding a grudge, ask yourself, how can I better protect myself in the future? By letting go of resentment and focusing on learning, you free up emotional energy and reduce the negative impact of the situation. You don't have to face negative situations alone. Seeking support and perspective from others can be invaluable. Talking with friends, family, or a mentor can provide new insights and help you view the situation from different angles. Sometimes, just talking about the problem can alleviate some of the stress and help you find clarity. Lastly, showing thanks is a way to take your mind off of bad things. Look for something you are thankful for instead of dwelling on what went wrong. This change in focus can help you keep an upbeat attitude even when things are hard. If you're going to bed tonight, take a moment to think of something good that happened that day. Something small, like a nice chat with a friend or a job well done, could do the trick. Being thankful helps you see the bigger picture, and remember that life has good things going for it all the time. Recognizing our part in bad events, controlling our responses, having a growth mindset, being proactive, asking for help, and practicing gratitude are all parts of being responsible. These steps will not only help you deal with bad situations better, but they will also give you the power to change your life and feel less stressed. Being a victim is not helpful. Taking responsibility for your actions will help you feel better and be more successful in life. The ability to respond is a crucial component in stress management and in transforming negative situations into positive ones. This ability refers to our capacity to choose how we react to any given situation. It is one of the most powerful tools we can develop to maintain control over our lives and improve our emotional well-being. Understanding and improving our ability to respond involves several key aspects. Let's explain them in detail so you can apply these principles in your daily life. The ability to respond begins with the awareness that, although we cannot control all external events, we can always control our reaction to them. This is a fundamental principle of self-control and resilience. When we face a stressful or negative situation, our immediate response may be impulsive and emotional. However, by developing the ability to respond, we can learn to pause, reflect, and choose a more constructive response. Learning to stop and think before moving is the first thing that can help us get better at responding. We can look at the situation and think about our choices during this short time between the stimulus and the response. During this break, we can ask ourselves important questions like, how can I react in a way that makes things better instead of worse? After taking a moment to think, the next step is to choose a helpful answer. Responding in a way that not only gets the job done, but also helps people learn and grow is called being constructive. These answers are all about fixing the issue and keeping relationships healthy. For instance, when someone criticizes you, you could say, I appreciate your feedback and would like to better understand how I can improve. This answer not only calms things down, but it also shows that you want to learn and grow. The ability to stay calm under pressure is an essential part of the ability to respond. When we feel stressed or overwhelmed, our emotions can cloud our judgment and lead us to react impulsively. Deep breathing is a simple yet effective technique to calm the nervous system. Taking a few moments to breathe deeply before responding to a stressful situation can help you focus and reduce the intensity of your emotions. Empathy is another powerful tool in the ability to respond. Being able to put yourself in another person's shoes and understand their feelings and perspectives can radically change our response to a situation. Empathy helps us see beyond our own emotions and consider the impact of our actions on others. For example, if a colleague is acting hostile, trying to understand the stress or difficulties they might be facing can help you respond with more compassion and less confrontation. Resilience is the ability to recover quickly from difficulties. Developing this skill will allow you to respond to challenges more effectively and with less stress. Resilience does not mean avoiding stress or difficulties, but facing these challenges constructively and learning from them. You can develop resilience by establishing a self-care routine that includes regular exercise, a balanced diet, sufficient rest, and time for activities you enjoy. Maintaining a healthy work-life balance is also crucial for building resilience. Thinking about how you handled bad events in the past can help you learn how to handle them better in the future. Think about what went well and what you might have done better. This self-evaluation will help you see patterns in how you respond and work on the things you need to change. Follow these steps in real life to fully integrate the ability to react into your daily life. Don't wait for a big problem to use these skills. Instead, start with small ones, like an argument with a friend or a problem at work. You will get better at these skills over time, and you will be ready to handle more difficult scenarios. Being able to react is a strong skill that can change your life and make you feel a lot less stressed. You can handle bad scenarios better and keep your emotions in check if you learn how to use, think about, and choose constructive responses. Once you start using these skills every day, your health and relationships will get a lot better. Today we've explored how we can transform our lives by improving our ability to respond to negative situations. We've learned that while we cannot always control external events, we do have the power to control our reactions and decisions. This approach not only helps you manage stress better, but also empowers you to take control of your life and achieve your personal and professional goals. Remember, the key to eliminating negative emotions and turning adverse situations into positive opportunities lies in accepting that we are responsible for our actions, reactions, and decisions. By pausing and reflecting before reacting, choosing constructive responses, staying calm, practicing empathy, and developing resilience, we can transform our response to challenges and reduce the negative impact on our lives. Taking personal responsibility is not about blaming yourself for everything that goes wrong, but about recognizing your role in situations and learning from them. By doing so, you free yourself from a victim mentality and adopt a proactive stance that allows you to grow and improve continuously. I think you should start with small steps. Practice stopping and thinking about things every day, whether you're at work, with friends, or when you're stressed. These actions will become habits over time, and you will notice a big difference in how well you can handle stress and bad feelings. If you like this show, please subscribe to our channel and share this podcast with anyone you think could benefit from it. We can make a community where everyone feels supported and learns how to handle their feelings better so they can live happier, more successful lives. Don't forget to follow us on our social media for more inspiring content and additional resources to help you on your journey to emotional well-being and personal success. Remember, if you want to change your future, take action, and take action now. Responsibility and the ability to respond are powerful tools within your reach, and with practice and dedication, you can transform your life in ways you never imagined. See you in the next episode, where we'll continue exploring strategies and tools for living a more balanced and fulfilling life. Until then, take care and keep moving forward with determination and optimism. As we come to the end of our talk today, I want you to take a big breath and realize how powerful you are. Getting over bad feelings isn't about getting rid of them. It's about turning them into something that gives you power and insight. Every bad feeling you have is a chance to learn more about yourself and grow. You can start to change your emotions by using the methods we've talked about. Instead of fear and doubt, you can feel confident and hopeful. Remember that how you react to your feelings is what makes you who you are, not your feelings themselves. Take every task as a chance to get stronger and more resilient. It takes time to become emotionally stable, but every step you take is a step toward more success, peace, and understanding. Mastering your feelings will help you reach your full potential and lead to a life full of success and happiness. So move forward with confidence, knowing that you have the tools to deal with your bad feelings and make your future what you want it to be.
Lights are flashing bright. We're dancing all night. Heartbeats feeling free. Just you and just me. Candy clouds up high. Touch the sky, laughing every day. Don't care what they say. Sugar rush, feel the crush. In a hush, we're in love. Feels like magic now. Lights go as we bow. Music makes us fly. Reach for stars so high. Sugar rush, feel the crush. In a hush, we're in love. World in candy hue, dreams come true. Eyes so bright with glee. You and me, we see cotton candy clouds above. Whispers of first love, holding hands so tight. Forever feels just right. Sugar rush, feel the crush. In a hush, we're in love. Sugar high, won't ever die. You and I will touch the sky. Sweet dreams on repeat. Our love forever so sweet. I was thinking you, dreams come true. Eyes so bright with glee, you and me we see. Cotton candy clouds above. Whispers of first love, holding hands so tight. Forever feels just right. Sugar rush, feel the crush. In a hush, we're in love. Sugar high, won't ever die. You and I will touch the sky. Sweet dreams.